Hello, I would like to welcome you to this week's Peak of the Week from Harding Academy. I'm, as you can see, in the weight room in the field house, and this has been a quiet place. It's usually not this time of year. We're definitely all missing all of our students and the rest of our teachers and coaches and faculty and staff. I hope this will be somewhat of an encouragement for you today, and you can take this with you throughout your day and throughout the week. There have been a few things that I've learned in spite of this virus, and things that I've been appreciative of. I heard Coach Paul Simmons speaking on the radio a couple weeks ago, and he talked about how much this virus had kind of been a blessing to him in a sense that he's gotten to spend a lot more time at home with his family when he would typically be on the road recruiting. And I feel the same way. I have a 7-month-old baby at home, and I've been blessed to be able to spend some extra time with him and my wife. I hope that you have found your time at home with your parents, students, and for those of you parents that are watching, I hope that you've enjoyed your extra time with your children as you've gotten to be the teacher and the cafeteria worker and the principal and all of that in the confines of your home. I just can't emphasize enough how much I have learned that we teachers and coaches need to be around our students, and we need to be around our fellow coaches and teachers just to create joy and happiness in our lives. It feels like a piece of all of us is missing just because we've not been able to interact with each other face to face or within a 6-foot proximity. Just want to encourage you to stay connected to each other, and however you can do that. If you've got guys you can go out in the neighborhood with and play and have a good time, I encourage you to do that, and stay connected through Zoom or FaceTime or however you can, but stay connected to one another. I know it's difficult to do at these times, but we all need that social interaction with each other to brighten our day and to lift our spirits and to encourage each other. I also would encourage you to get out and find ways that you can serve other people. There are some elderly people in our community that need our help. They may need some yard work done. They may need someone to go to the grocery store for them. I know some of them are terrified of the things that this virus can hold for them at their age and their physical conditions. But I encourage you to get out and find ways that you can serve other people, serve especially those that are at risk to be affected by this virus, and be an encouragement, be a light to our community in that way. Kind of to get into my lesson today, I've often wondered if God still operates in ways that He did during times of the Old Testament. It has crossed my mind several different times if our versions of natural disasters, whether that be hurricanes or tornadoes or mass amounts of flooding or whatever the case may be, are God's way of bringing us back to Him in ways that He did in the Old Testament. I look at, the 9/11 terrorist attacks and how much that brought Americans together and how much that kind of turned people back to God and back to their Bibles and trying to learn more and study more and grow closer to one another and grow closer to God. I think those troubling times have been times in our country where we have kind of rallied together, and I think this one will be the same. Could this virus and the things that are going along with it, could this possibly be God in a way pleading with us to come back to Him and draw His people back to a focus that is on Him and not distracted by things that are going on in the world. And we've had so many things that have kind of been taken away from us due to social distancing, but could this be God's way of refocusing us and turning our attention back to Him? I think about some of the lessons that we learned from the Israelites in Exodus. I want to read from Exodus chapter 3, verses 7 and 8. And this is God talking to Moses, and God is seeing the things that are going on with the Egyptian bondage. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the oppression of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmakers. For I know their sorrows, so I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up from that land to a good and large land, to a land flowing with milk and honey. So God comes to Moses, and he says, I've seen my people are suffering in this area, in this region, and I want to bring them out of this suffering, and I want you to be the one to deliver them. And as we all would, we kind of question God, why me, God? Moses repeatedly asked God, why me? I don't talk very well. I'm not the best speaker. I'm not the best leader. Why me? And he tries to kind of get out of it, but God has an answer for that. And so the Lord said to Moses, see, I have made you as God to Pharaoh, and Aaron your brother shall be your prophet. You shall speak all that I command you, and Aaron your brother shall tell Pharaoh to send the children of Israel out of his land. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and multiply my signs and my wonders in the land of Egypt. But Pharaoh will not heed you, so that I may lay my hand on Egypt, and bring my armies and my people, the children of Israel, out of the land of Egypt by great judgments. And the Egyptians shall know that I am Lord, when I stretch out my hand over Egypt, and bring out the children of Israel from among them. That's Exodus chapter 7, verses 1 through 5. And what I take from that is Moses is questioning God and not feeling like he is the person that should be doing this, that God is asking him. And so God gives him his brother Aaron, and he uses his brother as an encourager and a speaker for him. And that kind of tells me that we need each other. We need each other's gifts and each other's talents. And though one of us may not be good at something, we can use the talents of our brothers and our sisters to glorify God and do His will. But something else that I kind of find interesting in this is that God is kind of foreshadowing all the things that are going to come through the different plagues. But He says that He is going to harden Pharaoh's heart. And I find that interesting that God would do that, because by Pharaoh's heart being hardened, many people suffer through these plagues. And many people die, and many of their belongings and the things of this world are destroyed because of these plagues. And it's almost as if God allows that to happen. And I believe that He does for the same reasons that I've discussed earlier. When these natural disasters have hit us, we've all come back together. We've all grown closer to God, and we've grown more dependent on God and less dependent on ourselves. And so I see, it seems a bit disheartening that God would harden Pharaoh's heart for so long through all of these plagues, that He would allow this bad stuff to happen to these people, who are His people. But all of those things had to happen. Pharaoh's heart had to be hardened, and these plagues had to happen in order to show God's glory and God's mercy and His power that He is willing to sacrifice some of these things for the glory of the people as a whole and His group of people, His believers, His Israelites, and bring them out of this suffering. And in no way am I trying to compare this virus to all of the plagues that have impacted the Israelites. But I do believe that there are some parallels that we can draw from these times. And so God brings about all of the 10 plagues, and the Israelites are finally liberated from Egyptian bondage. And unfortunately, Moses passes away. And here in Joshua chapter 1, verses 1 through 7, it says, "Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, you and all this people, to the land which I am giving to them, the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given you, as I said to Moses. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea toward the going down of the sun shall be your territory. No man shall be able to stand before you all of the days of your life, as I was with Moses. So I will be with you. I will not leave you nor forsake you. Be strong and of good courage, for to this people you shall divide as an inheritance the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go." And so God has delivered these people out of Egyptian bondage. They've wandered in the wilderness for 40 years, and here they are about to enter this land that they have been longing for and searching for, and probably kind of doubting at this point. And finally, here they are entering this land, reaping the benefits of their faithfulness. And it was back and forth. It wasn't all the time that they were completely faithful to God and weren't quite without question and trying to do their own thing and do things without God. But repeatedly, God has brought them back through trials and tribulations, brought them back to Him, and He is blessing them with the land that He has promised their fathers. And I believe that is great joy and a great encouragement to us to know that all this stuff we're going through at this time and that we go through throughout our lives, kind of turn it on its head, kind of twist it a little bit, change your perspective on these things, and look at them as God calling you back home. One of my favorite songs for us to sing in church is the "Get Right Church and Let's Go Home." I just love hearing that song, and it fits this scenario here for all of us to come back to God, get ourselves right with Him, and take these troubling times and what appears to be natural disasters or the coronavirus or the plagues of the Bible, whatever the case may be. I believe that is God's way of bringing us back home, bringing us back to Him, bringing our focus back to Him, and setting our sights on things, on the promised land and the things that have been promised to our fathers and to us. And I hope that this has been encouraging to you, and I hope that you will use this throughout this day and this week to be an encouragement to others and be a light to others, and change your perspective. Look at this as a way for all of us to be called back home and to enter that promised land together. Pray with me if you will. Dear Lord, we thank you for all the many blessings that you give to us. Thank you for this wonderful school that you have allowed all of us to come to and learn not only academics, but to also learn about you. Thank you for all of the students and teachers and all of the people that make this place what it is and the reasons that it is so special. I thank you for all of those that have come before us that have made this a special place. I pray that you would please be with Mr. Breedlove and his family as they are dealing with the loss of his mother. I pray that you will please be with all of those that are dealing with this virus and the workers that are on the front lines battling this in hospitals and nursing homes and even those that are battling at home. I pray that you will be with them, heal them, and bring them back to their normal health. I pray that you will restore our world to somewhat of a normalcy, but I pray that we will all look to you for guidance and for direction, and we will all focus our eyes back upon you if maybe we had wandered off just as the Israelites did in the wilderness. I pray that you will be with the leaders of our country, be with the leaders of our school and our community. Help them all to make decisions that would honor you and glorify you. And I pray that we will all enter that promised land together one day and be able to live with you in eternity in heaven. Pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.